So today we are going to talk about body fluids and circulation. This is a very important chapter. Its weightage is high, so we will discuss in regarding to board examination as well as the NEET examination. So let's talk about first fluids. This chapter talks about heart, blood cells, and blood. Okay, so let's first understand what are body fluids. How many types of fluids are there? Uh, we know about blood. Is there any other fluid other than this? Why we need fluid in our body? What is the use of it? So the body fluids, they are the medium for the transport of your oxygen, nutrients, and also the waste products. Even your whatever food you are taking, like suppose you have taken some rice, dal, pulses, curry, and all. After eating, all the absorption takes place in your stomach and intestines, and after that all the fluid, they will reach to the blood. From the blood they give to the cells, they give to your cells, and from cells undergo some metabolism, respiration, they break down the products and they produce ATP, energy, and other requirements of your body. Oxygen is very important for the survival, and other important. So after metabolism, after producing energy and the things, what you have is the waste product. So waste product is also again kept brought into the blood. Waste products again, they come back into the blood. So these body fluids, they are very important for us. There are two types of body fluids. One is intracellular fluid and there is extracellular fluid. Intracellular fluid means these are present inside your cell. The cytoplasm, it's all fluid, it's all water. So intracellular fluid is the fluid which is found in your cell. Extracellular fluid is the fluid which is outside your cell. Okay, like blood. What extracellular fluid? Blood, lymph, CSF. So these are the extracellular fluid, and these body fluids are very important, because these fluids, if these fluids are very less, such as in diarrhea, in diarrhea there is a lot of passage of the watery stools from your anus. Watery stools, lots of watery stools. Because of that, the body fluids reduces, so you get dehydration. Because of dehydration, reduce in your blood pressure and all. So then we give IV fluids, intravenous fluids, and we correct the dehydration. So it's very important to maintain your body fluids. So that's why there's a term called homeostasis. I'm not talking about hemo, not blood. We are talking about fluids. Homeostasis is the maintenance of the balance of the body fluids in your body. Okay, so these are the things. Now let's talk about blood. Blood is the most important body fluid we know. So it's a fluid connective tissue, as you have read in your chapters about the connective tissue, about different types of tissues in our body. So blood is a fluid connective tissue. It's composed of fluid matrix. It is a fluid matrix. So other connective tissue, they have a collagen matrix, some other matrix, but blood is only the connective tissue which has a fluid matrix. If you get question like what is the connective tissue which have fluid as the matrix, as the filling substance, matrix and filling substance, is the blood. Blood is the fluid which have fluid matrix. Okay, so blood, it consists of some components like plasma and blood corpuscles. Corpuscles are the blood cells. Corpuscles are cells. So blood cells and plasma. So blood, it has 30 to 35% of ECF. ECF is nothing but extracellular fluid. Blood, it consists of the 30 to 35% of extracellular fluid, means plasma, means water. Okay, it is slightly alkaline fluid having pH of 7.4. Your urine is acidic. Your blood is slightly alkaline because of presence of the carbonates, bicarbonates. So your blood is alkaline. Your blood is not acidic. Your blood is alkaline. Okay, let's talk about the the components of the blood in the form of a flow chart. Okay, so here is the flow chart. So let's see. So this is the blood consists of the formed elements, that is the blood corpuscles and the plasma. So plasma, it consists of water, proteins, minerals, ions, vitamins. So plasma consists all the, so blood consists of the formed elements. Formed elements are nothing but blood cells, erythrocytes, leukocytes and thrombocytes. So erythrocytes are the RBCs. Remember this, leukocytes are the WBCs, thrombocytes are your platelets. Okay, and plasma consists of your water, proteins, minerals, ions, gases, everything. Gas, yes, other gases. Okay, carbon dioxide majority present in the plasma, not in your RBC. Okay, so these are the formed elements. Formed elements are three. What are the formed elements? Once again, I will write and show you, because what, and you also write in your notes if you're making, so it's better to make. So blood, it consists of what? It consists of formed elements. What are formed elements, ma? Formed elements are what? WBC, RBC, platelets, and that is plasma. Plasma is the fluid. Okay, formed elements are the cells, plasma is the fluid. So plasma, it consists majority of water, it consists of proteins, nutrients. Okay, for formed elements, ions, bicarbonate, sodium, potassium, all these are present in your plasma. Formed elements, they're floating in the plasma. Okay, formed elements are what? RBC, WBC, other is platelets. So these are your formed elements. There are three formed elements: RBC, WBC, platelets. Okay, so these are the formed elements. RBC are red in color. RBC, these are red in color. WBC, white in color. We can't show white here, that's why I'm showing yellow. Don't think. Okay, platelets also, they have no specific color like that. Okay, so platelets, so these three formed elements are there. Plasma is a straw color fluid. Okay, straw color fluid, it's a straw color fluid. Okay, so this is the thing, try to remember this. Let's talk about next. Plasma is a straw colored fluid. It's a straw colored fluid. It's a straw colored viscous fluid. It's a viscous fluid. Viscous means if you if you take out your blood and keep it in a test tube open in the air, then what happens? All the water evaporates and your thick blood will, the plasma will become very thick. Viscous means it will easily evaporate. That contains 55% of blood volume. So 55% is plasma in the blood, and 45%, remaining 45% is your formed elements. So plasma is 55%. So plasma is how much? 55%, and formed elements are 45%. Okay, and plasma, what are there? 90 to 95%, 92% water is there, 6 to 8% proteins. And protein, you have different types of protein. Three types of protein are there: fibrinogen, albumins and globulins. You have glucose, you have amino acids, and you have small amounts of minerals like sodium, calcium and chloride, etc. I'll tell you in the type of flow chart. Okay, I'll summarize this. give a big table. Okay, erythrocyte, leukocyte, platelets are collectively called formed elements. Erythrocytes are most abundant cells in human body, and total RBC count is 5 to 5.5 million, which is slightly less in females due to menstruation. Formed in bone marrow. Nucleus is absent in mammalian RBCs, having biconcave shape. Every 100 ml of blood contains 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin. Lifespan is 120 days. Destroyed in spleen. Spleen is called graveyard of RBC. Leukocytes, these are colorless due to absence of hemoglobin. 6,000 to 8,000 of WBCs present in each ml of blood. These are the different types of WBCs, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Now I'll tell you in the form of a flowchart. Okay, so see here. Let me use this. So you have blood. In blood you have two components. Okay, you have plasma, which is how much? 55%. 55% is your plasma, and your formed elements are how much? 45%. Plasma is a chocolate fluid. Chocolate fluid means I showed you this color, no? This type of color is the this type of color. It's chocolate fluid. Okay, it's a chocolate fluid. It's chocolate fluid. Plasma is a chocolate fluid. So it have 90 to 95% water, and remaining it have proteins. Proteins are three types. Okay, try to learn now itself. Proteins are three types. I'll explain you in detail. Okay, fibrinogen. We'll talk about fibrinogen later in this chapter. Now I'll give you brief. Fibrinogen, albumin. I'll tell you how albumin is very important, and globulin. So there are three types of proteins. Okay, this is the basics which you should know. Okay, fibrinogen is a helping in formation of blood clot. When you fall off and when you get injury on your hand, leg, skin is bruised, skin is cut off, so after a few days, 1 or 2 days, you will find that there is some red color, something is formed. So these is formed by your fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is the inactive form. It is activated by some clotting mechanism, which will be talking about it. And this fibrinogen is converted into fibrin, and fibrin forms the blood clot. Okay, next talking about albumin. Albumin is the protein, and this protein is very important for maintaining your blood homeostasis also. And this albumin, it helps in your filtration also. So kidney, urine filtration, blood filtration, formation of urine, you will see that albumin is not found in your urine. If it is found in urine, means there is some issue with your kidney, and which is not able to function properly, and you are getting albumin in urine. So albumin should be present in the blood, not in the urine. Okay, I will say you detail about this again later. Albumin helps in if there is deficiency of albumin, then there is a fluid retention in your body, which leads to swelling. If there is reduced albumin, it will cause swelling in your body. It will cause a swelling of legs, feet, abdomen. Okay, I'll tell you the clinical parts about it later. Globulin are the IgG, IgA. These are immunoglobulins. These are globulin proteins. So there are three and there are five types of globulins, immunoglobulins, because they help in globulins, they help in immunity. They are called immunoglobulins. So you can remember by the mnemonic gamed: G, IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE, IgD. Okay, So delta, gamma, alpha, penta, all that are there, we'll discuss later. So this is about plasma. Plasma consists of mostly of water and remaining proteins, and also ions. Ions are also there. Ions are also there. Ions are there. So these ions, they also help in maintaining the pH of your blood. Bicarbonates are there, has CO3 minus. Chlorides are there, sodium is there, potassium is there. Sodium, potassium are very important in maintaining your blood pressure. Bicarbonates, chloride, these are important for maintaining your blood pH. If your blood pH is down, if it is less than 7, is if it is around because the blood pH is around 7.4 as given in the text. So blood pH maintenance is very important. If there is less pH, means your body is having acid, carbon dioxide accumulation, because carbon dioxide gas is acidic in nature. It means your body is depriving of oxygen. Less oxygen is there and more carbon dioxide is there, and if more carbon dioxide is there, cells will not get oxygen properly and they will die. So pH of the blood is very important. So in this slide we have discussed about plasma, blood pH. Okay, all the practical points I'll tell you later. Okay, now talking about the formed elements, let's take some black color. Formed elements are nothing but your blood cells. So you have three types: RBC are red in color because of the presence of a pigment. What is that pigment? Hemoglobin. What is that pigment? Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is responsible for the red color of the RBC. Another is WBC. WBC are the colorless, or you can say white. Why they are white? Because they lack hemoglobin. There is no hemoglobin in WBC, and WBC are of different types: granulocytes and agranulocytes. Talking about platelet. So RBC, the normal number in females and males are different. Now let's take separately about the RBCs. So there are three types of cells: RBC, WBC and platelets. Understood, right? Let's talk about the RBC. RBC are what? Biconcave in shape. What is the shape of the RBC? Biconcave. Biconcave means at the periphery they are thick, okay, and at the center they are thin. So this is the shape of the RBC. Shape is what? Biconcave. Biconcave shape. And in the males the number is different because of several factors I will discuss here. Okay, I'll discuss here. So in males and females the RBC count is different. In males 4.5 to 5.5 million RBCs are there. Sorry, yeah, 4.5 to 5.5 million. In female 4 to 4.5 million RBCs. We have millions of RBCs. We are millionaires in terms of RBCs. So we have millions of RBCs in our blood. If you are female, you have 4 to 4.5. If you're male, 4.5 to 5.5 million. In males, the RBC count is more because of the influence of testosterone. Testosterone is the male hormone. It's a male androgenic hormone, and in females it's less because of the estrogen, and females undergo menstruation, because of which a lot of blood loss is there. Okay, so because of this the count varies, but the main reason behind increased number in males is testosterone and females is estrogen. Okay, because of the menstruation there is a blood loss, of course. But what about menopause women? They should have the same RBC count now, but still they have less because it's by nature, because of the hormone presence. Anyways, this now is different, quite difference is there. Okay. Now, after talking about the RBC, what is the lifespan of RBC? Lifespan of RBC is about 120 days. 120 days is approximately how much? 3 months. Okay, so try to note down this in your NCRT side space so that it's easy for you to revise. So in males and females the number of RBC is different. And talking about hemoglobin now, let's talk about hemoglobin. Okay, so hemoglobin, the normal hemoglobin, for hemoglobin concentration also we have different values in males and in females, but general value is 12 to 16 grams. 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin is there, of course, per 100 ml of blood. We are talking about 100 ml of blood. Okay, 12 to 16 grams of RBCs. So in females the RBC is again, the hemoglobin is again less, since RBC is less, and in males hemoglobin is more. So for females we take 12 to 14 as normal, and in males we take 13 to 16 as normal. Okay, so what is the, what happened? Okay, my pen. So what is there in males and females, this hemoglobin is also different. Talking about the functions of hemoglobin, hemoglobin has a role in transport of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, and hemoglobin has highest affinity for carbon monoxide, then carbon dioxide, and then oxygen. Okay, this is the affinity of hemoglobin. Note it down, it's very useful. Later I will talk about carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide poisoning, will talk about this. Hemoglobin has 100 times more efficiency, 500 times I think, 100 to 500 times, it's there in your second year NCRT. Affinity for carbon monoxide than for oxygen, but still in general we all take oxygen and carbon dioxide, and hemoglobin transports oxygen. And from where to where hemoglobin is present in your RBCs. So RBCs, they transport oxygen from your lungs to your blood cells. Okay, and carbon dioxide from your cells to your lungs to expel it out. Okay, this is the function of hemoglobin. It also helps in the buffer. It also helps in your buffer maintenance. Okay, buffer maintenance, hemoglobin helps in the buffer maintenance. Okay, so these points are enough. This is the function of RBC. And RBC, let's talk about something about where RBCs are manufactured and where they are thrown after their work is over. Okay, so RBC, these are manufactured, means these are produced, in bone marrow. I'm writing BM for bone marrow. So these are produced in the bone marrow. Bone marrow are nothing but your bones, and these bones, this bone marrow, they have some empty space inside which is filled with fat, and this produces lots of RBCs. Okay, and this is under the influence of the hormones like erythropoietin. I think you know regarding it. Erythropoietin is write in the comment section who produces erythropoietin, where erythropoietin is produced. This is your homework. Tell me where erythropoietin is produced. So for those who don't know, erythropoietin is produced in kidney. Okay, kidney produces erythropoietin, which helps in the production of RBC, which stimulates bone marrow to produce RBC. Another stimulus for the bone marrow to produce RBC is hypoxia. Hypoxia means reduced oxygen in your blood. also stimulates the production of RBC. One interesting fact I will tell you, that have you seen the people who live in hilly areas or in the Himalayan hills, Himalayan mountains? They are very red. If you see them, their face is very reddish, like as if they have they have applied lots of blush. But it is because they are living in the hilly areas. Their uh, oxygen is reduced in the blood, because of which there is hypoxia. Is hypo means less, oxia means oxygen, so there is less oxygen in the blood, which stimulates your bone marrow to produce more of RBCs. That's why these people, they look very red to you, pinkish red. Nepali and that hilly areas, the people those who live in hilly areas, they look red to you, pinkish to you, because their bone marrow is producing more oxygen. Even if you leave there you'll get hypoxia, and you will produce. And after manufacturing, the RBCs are then thrown into spleen. Okay, the RBCs, they are thrown into spleen. So in spleen, so if you talk in spleen, the spleen is a very important organ. It helps in the destruction of RBC. It destroy the RBC, and after destruction of the RBC, RBC is having hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is having heme part and the globin part. Heme part and the globin part. The globin part is the protein, and this protein is utilized for next production of a hemoglobin. But this heme part, it contains iron. Okay, it contains iron. This iron is utilized, this protein is utilized for producing new hemoglobin, and the heme is converted into biliverdin. Biliverdin is green color pigment. Okay, and this biliverdin is produced into bilirubin. Are you getting some clue? Biliverdin is converted into bilirubin. These all happen in your liver. These all happen in your liver. Your liver produces all this, and this bilirubin is then come in your urine and stool. Okay, again it is broken down further, and some part will come in the urine and some come in the stools. Okay, so these are the important points what I have tell you. This is extra knowledge, not to remember much, not to stress, but if you understand, it's good. If Because if you're preparing for NEET, means you have a goal to do further biology, right? So now let's talk about WBC. As I have said, WBC, they are of two types. There are two types. There are granulocytes and agranulocytes. What do you mean by granulocytes and what do you mean by agranulocytes? First, let me tell you trick. What are these? How to remember? Eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils, agranulocytes, leukocytes, monocytes. So if you see, these are phils. Eosinophils, phils, basophils, phils, neutrophils, phils. These are granulocytes. Okay, leukocytes sites is there. Leukocytes, monocytes. Okay, these are sites, granulocytes. So now let me tell you, what does it mean? Granulocyte means they have some granules. Can you see this? Can you see this? They have some granules. They have some granules, and can you see the nucleus of this eosinophil? It is looking headphone shape. Have you seen headphone shape? What you keep on your ears and listen music and classes. So these are headphone shaped, isn't it? Isn't it? Does it look like it? And it have some granules, some dot granules, some dot particles in its cytoplasm. These are called eosinophils. So that's why it is called granulocyte. If you see this basophils, it also have some dot particles in it. So it is a granulocyte. Even for neutrophils there is dot dot particles. And can you see the nucleus, how many lobes are there? These are three lobes. Can you see these lobes? There are three lobes in the neutrophil. Okay, so this is the neutrophil. It also have dot dot. So these three they are called granulocytes because they have granules in the cytoplasm. Granules means some particles in the cytoplasm. But if you see these lymphocytes, they don't have any dot dot particles in the cytoplasm. Can you see this nucleus, how it is looking? Monocytes nucleus. And these are lymphocytes. So lymphocytes you have actually lymphocytes are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. And a granulocytes you have monocytes and lymphocytes. For a granulocytes you have monocytes and lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are two types: B lymphocytes because they mature in the bone marrow, and T lymphocytes because they mature in the thymus. Now what is this maturation? Let's talk. So as I have said, the RBC they are produced in the bone marrow. Similarly, WBC also, all the blood cells, even platelets, RBC, WBC, platelets, all are produced in so-called bone marrow. So-called bone marrow, all the blood cells formed elements are produced. So RBC is also produced in the bone marrow. WBC also produced. Platelets are also produced in the bone marrow. After, so for WBC, for lymphocytes especially, for lymphocytes, they are born from the bone marrow. But some of the lymphocytes they go to the thymus. Thymus is a uh, thymus is a gland in your chest, okay, in your thorax, in your chest. Thymus is a gland, and there some of the lymphocytes they go to thymus, so they mature there, so they are called T lymphocytes. Okay, so this is the story. Did you understand now what are granulocytes, what are agranulocytes? They have granules, so they are granulocytes. So they are fills. Trick to remember is fills. And these are sites. Agranulocytes are sites. They don't have any granules. And this is nucleus. And I have said the eosinophils they have headphone shaped nucleus. And neutrophils they have three lobes. They are multilobular. So monocytes they have bean shaped nucleus. Can you see? Now let's talk about each cell. So basophils they secrete histamine, serotonin, and heparin that are involved in inflammatory reactions. So basophils they secrete histamine. These are the basophils. Basophils are least in number in our body. Okay, whenever you give your test for CBC, complete blood picture or complete blood count, there you will see the basophils number is 0 because these are very minimum. Okay, these are not seen in the blood. So if there is any inflammatory condition, then you will find basophils in your blood, and they will secrete histamine, serotonin, and heparin. These three things. When there is inflammatory reaction in your body, the basophils they come and they secrete histamine, serotonin, and heparin. Okay, and eosinophils resist infection and allergic reactions. Okay, so let me tell about eosinophils. Okay, eosinophils eosinophils their number is raised during two conditions. One is infection and this allergic condition. Allergic conditions their number is increased, and another is infection. Which infection? Parasitic infection, worm infection. Worms, ascaris worm infections. Worm infections. During worm infections, the number is increased. Ascaris worm infection. This is Ascaris. So the as during worm infection, the eosinophils number increases. So whenever a person is having allergy, when we give the blood for blood count, complete blood count, if we see the eosinophil number is increased, it means the patient is having allergy or the parasitic infection like the worm infections. Okay, so this is the importance of eosinophils. Now let's talk about B and T lymphocytes. B and T lymphocytes, these are helping in your immunity. Okay, these are helping in your immunity. When you have infection, the number is increased. These are responsible for the immune responses of the body. Okay, now let's talk about thrombocytes. Thrombocytes is nothing but platelets. Platelets are cell fragments produced from megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes are nothing but a type of cell in the bone marrow, and when these megakaryocytes they cut off and they produce the platelets, and these platelets are very important for the blood clotting. Okay, so in our body there is 1,50,000 to 3,50,000 platelets in 1 ml of blood. In 1 ml of blood you have 1,50,000, 3,50,000, and platelets are involved in clotting or coagulation of blood in case of injuries. When you get cut or when you fall off and you get some injuries, platelets help to stop the bleeding from your body. Okay, so platelets are important. That's why have you heard about decrease in platelet count during dengue? I'll tell why, what, everything I'll tell you. But first, let's recap about the numbers. So, erythrocytes, if you see erythrocytes, you have 5 to 5.5 million RBCs in your blood. Okay, in your blood, you have 5 to 5.5 million RBCs. The number is different in males and in females. Okay, and 6,000 to 8,000, but 6,000 to 11,000 is the actual number what we study in physiology and pathology. This is the actual number. 6,000 to 11,000 WBC are there. If the WBC number is more than 11,000, it means you have infection, and if six less than 6,000, it means you have something wrong with your bone marrow. Your bone marrow is not working properly. And platelets, you have 1,50,000 to 3,50,000. Okay, platelets help in blood clotting. Okay, coagulation and clotting of blood. So this is about the formed elements, plasma and all. So I have taken a lot of time, but I think I have included all the important points. Okay, so I have included all the important points regarding it. And one more, I was going to tell you about dengue, right? So let me teach you about dengue. Okay, so let me tell you about dengue. So dengue is a viral infection. Okay, it's a viral infection. The mosquito is having the mosquito has taken virus from some other patient, some other dengue patient, and it has transmitted to another new patient. Okay, so it is a then mosquito is carrying virus in it. So this virus, dengue virus, it is a virus. Okay, so what it does, it lowers your it make you sick. Fever is there. The fever is so severe, and you have joint pains, you have back pain. So it is also called break bone fever, haddi tod bukhar. So it's a very serious problem. But for different patients it has different depending upon different factors. Some patients just have fever and something, some patients have bleeding, severe fever, and some patients they have severe shock means fluid loss is more, the bp pulse everything is down. So that different stages of dengue. So the platelets count there, their platelets count is decreased, and if the platelet counts it decrease about 30,000, 60,000, 50,000, 30,000 like that, then there's a lot, there is chance of bleeding. So bleeding will be there. Bleeding, where bleeding? When the patient vomits, there will be blood. In stools, in your washroom stools, blood will be there. If the bleeding is in your upper gi means your stomach, esophagus, that in your stomach, basically stomach and duodenum part. And if the bleeding is in your lower gi, if the bleeding is in upper gi, the stools will be dark in color, dark color stools, black color, dark brown color, black color stools. And if it is lower gi bleeding, means your intestines, your large intestine, small intestines are involved, then there will be fresh blood will be there. So this is the extra knowledge what I'm giving. Dengue fever have different stages. Some have just mild fever and they recover. Some have severe bleeding because there is loss of platelets, and due to less platelets there is no blood clotting fails. And because blood clotting is failed, the patient has blood in vomiting, blood in urine, blood in stools. Okay, in for even for small cut there will be lot of bleeding. Why because the platelets are not there for clotting, for forming the blood clot. So stools and dark color stool, if there is bleeding in the upper gi means your stomach and duodenum, then the stools will be dark black in color. And if the lower gi bleed is there, then there will be fresh blood. So this is about dengue. And dengue is a viral fever, so it do not have any specific drug. Okay, we just manage it by giving fluids, supportive treatment for vomiting, pain, fever, but we don't have any specific drug. Like for malaria we give primaquine, chloroquine, all that. For dengue it's a viral fever, so we don't have any specific antibiotics for it. This is the extra knowledge what I gave, and I've spent a lot of time. Now let's talk about blood groups. So these are different types of blood groups. So blood of human beings differ in certain aspect, though it is same in the individual. So blood groups is decided by your RBC membrane antigens. RBC membrane antigens. Okay, RBC is there. RBC has some kind of antigens on it, that is called surface antigens. So RBC have surface antigens which decides your blood group. So I'll make you understand, but first let see different types. So this system, this ABO blood group system, it is called ABO blood group. It is called what? It is called ABO blood group system. It was given from some scientist. It's not required for you to remember the name of the scientist. So ABO blood grouping system was given, and it is based on the presence or absence of antigen on the surface of the RBC. Antigen A and antigen B, two types. Okay, the plasma of an individual also contains two antibodies produced in response to antigens. The plasma, it has antibodies. So RBC has the antigen, plasma has the antibody. But see what kind of antibody is there. See, if RBC is there, RBC is there. So this is the RBC. Okay, so the RBC, it is having some antigen. Suppose this pink color is A antigen. Okay, one more RBC is there. Let's take blue color. This is B antigen. This is what? B antigen. And one more RBC is there. Let's take both blue and pink color. A and B, both antigen are there. So this A antigen, B antigen, here both A and B antigen are there. A and B antigen both are there. Okay, so the RBC having some antigen on it. So what about plasma? Plasma has what? It has antibody. If the plasma has a antibody, antibody means against the antigen, the antigen is A, and if the plasma is having antibody A, then what will happen, the antibody, it will go and bind it and it will destroy the antigen. That's why nature knows this. So what nature did, for A antigen, the plasma has B antibody. The plasma have what? The plasma have B antibody. The plasma have what? B antibody. Plasma have B antibody. So it cannot go and destroy the A antigen. For similarly, if the RBC have B antigen, then plasma has A antibody, so that it cannot destroy it. A antibody. But what about if the antigen on the RBC is A and B both? Then plasma do not have antibody. Plasma do not have antibody itself. There is no antibody, because if there is B antibody, then it will go and destroy to the B antigen. If there is A antibody, it will go and destroy the A. So there will be RBC will be destroyed in that person. So for that person, there is no antibody in the plasma. Okay, understood? For some people, there is no antigen. This antigen is not there. So they are called O. So that's why we give 0 or O antigen. So that's why for O antigen we have both A and B antibodies, because it will not destroy the RBC antigen, because there is no antigen itself. If there is antibody in the blood, nothing will happen. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing. So now let me explain you. You understood about antigen and antibody? I hope so. So this is what? This is your RBC, and here you have some, you don't have here antigen. No antigen is there. There is no antigen. AG I am writing. AG is antigen. So there is no antigen. If there is no antigen, means if there is no antigen, no problem. Both A and B antibodies, AB for antibodies, can be there in the plasma, because here no antigen. So in the plasma of that person, there is A and B both antibodies. Understood? I hope you understood. Let me revise. So you have RBC. On the RBC you have some antigen. If this is A antigen, suppose pink, I have given color code as A antigen. If there is A antigen on that RBC, the person should not have A antibody in the blood, because if A antibody is there, it will go and destroy the A RBC. So that's why there is no A antibody in the person's blood. There will be B antibody. So B antibody, it will not destroy the A antigen on RBC. Okay, if B antigen is there, let me tell first that any person, he can have either A antigen, or he can have either B antigen, or he can have both antigen, or he can have no antigen. So this is the possibilities. All at a time is not present in a single person. It is present in a population. Suppose in your class or in your family, in your family, not in your class, in your class, your blood group is A. Suppose your blood group is A. Your blood group is A. Your friend might be having B blood group. Other friend will be having AB blood group. Other friend might be having O blood group. But at a time you don't have all these blood group. You have either A, or you have either B, or you have either AB, or you have either O. Okay, any one of it out of 4 blood groups. Okay, so A blood group means you have A antigen on your RBC. It means you don't have A antibody, you have B antibodies. Which antibodies you have? B antibodies, because B antibodies cannot destroy the A antigen. That's it. If your blood group is B, if your blood group is B, means you don't have B antibody, you have A antibody. If your blood group is AB, it means you don't have any antibodies in your blood. If your blood group is O, means you have both antibodies, both A and B antibodies you have in your blood. Okay, I think you understood. Now let's go to this table. If you see on this table, if you have A blood group, then you have A antigen on your RBC, and then you have anti-B antibodies. Anti-B. If you have A, you will have B. This is on plasma, this is on RBC. If you have B blood group, if you have B blood group, you have B antigen on your RBC, then you have A antibodies in your plasma. If you have AB blood group, you have A and B both antigens but no antibodies in your blood. If you have O, you have both antibodies on your plasma but no antigen on your RBC. So antigen is present on RBC and antibody is present in your plasma. Because I said plasma have globulins. Globulins are nothing but your antibodies. So now let's talk about donation. So who is universal donor? Donor means I can give my blood to anybody because I don't have any antigen on my RBC. If I don't have any antigen on my RBC, if there is no antigen on my RBC, then whatever the recipient means who is taking the blood, who needs blood is the recipient who needs blood. Whatever, irrespective of whatever antibody he is having, if he is A blood group, he will have B antibodies. If he is B blood group, he will have A antibodies. So, but for O blood group, he don't have any antigen. So, for O blood group, he don't have any antigen. If no antigen on his RBC, then these antibodies will not destroy the antigen. Okay, so that's why O blood group is universal donor. Talking about AB blood group, AB blood group means universal recipient because it don't have any antibodies in its blood. He can receive anyone's blood. Okay, so this is the thing. But not only one ABO blood group. This is the ABO blood group. Whatever we discussed is ABO blood group. This is ABO blood group. Another blood group system is RH grouping system. We have so many blood grouping systems, but main ones are ABO blood group and RH blood group. We have Bombay blood group also, but main is ABO and RH. RH blood group, it has RH antigen. It has RH antigen on its RBC surface. Not A, not B, RH antigen. And RH word came from the rhesus monkey because the scientist first he saw this type of antigen on the RBC of a monkey, that is rhesus monkey. Understood? Rhesus monkey, when the scientists were researching, he saw this type of antigen for the first time in the RBC of a monkey called rhesus monkey. This is a type of species of monkey, rhesus monkey. So he observed first time, that's why he named the blood grouping system as Rh blood grouping system. Okay, so these are Rh antibodies on the RBC, and majority of individuals, about 80%, they have this Rh antigen. So such people are called Rh positive. Rh positive because they have the antigen, they are called Rh positive. And those in whom this antigen is absent, they are called Rh negative. So 80% people, they have Rh antigen, they are called Rh positive. They don't have Rh antigen on their RBC, they are called Rh negative. Now let's talk about important topic, and then we'll stop here. Blood clotting factors and about heart we'll talk in later class, because this lecture is becoming very long, because I have explained each and everything in very detail. Okay, talking about erythroblastosis fetalis. Fetus means baby. Okay, fetus means baby, fetalis means baby, fetalis means baby. What is erythroblastosis? Erythroblastosis is nothing but erythro means RBC, blastosis means blasted, destroyed. Why the RBC of the fetus is destroyed? Let's talk about it. So as we have said, those who are having the Rh antigen, they are called Rh positive, and those who do not have Rh antigen, they are called Rh negative. Suppose there is a mother who is Rh negative. So she is mother, she is Rh negative, and the father is Rh positive. So, 1 minute. The father is Rh positive. The mother is Rh negative. The mother is Rh negative. Mother do not have the Rh antigen, which is very rare, and father he has Rh antigen on it. Okay, now since the positive are dominant, so the baby, the fetus, the baby will have Rh. 1 minute. Okay, so the baby will have Rh positive. The baby will have Rh positive. Understood? The mother is Rh negative. She don't have antigen, Rh antigen on her RBC surface, RBC membrane surface. She don't have Rh antigen. That's why she is called Rh negative mother. Since the father is having Rh positive, that's why he is called Rh positive father. So their baby, their baby is having antigen on the RBC membrane. So the baby is called Rh positive. Now the baby is in the mother's womb, right? The baby is in the mother's womb. The baby is in the mother's womb, and when the baby is delivered for the first time, when this couple is getting pregnant, the mother, when she is delivering the RS positive baby, the chorion and the placenta all will be at the time when there is separation of these chorion and placenta from the baby and mother. At the time, some of the blood leaks into the mother's body. The baby's blood, is here Rh positive, is leaking into the Rh negative mother, because of which the mother is getting the exposed to the Rh antigen for the first time. The mother is getting exposed to the Rh antigen. Because she is getting exposed to the antigen, now the mother, she will produce antibodies. Against this Rh positive antigen. Understood? Now when she's producing the antigen against, when second time she gets pregnant, second child is in the womb, is second child is in the womb, the second child is in the womb. At that time, these antibodies are small antibodies. These are called IgG antibodies. They can easily cross the placenta, so they cross the placental barrier, and these antibodies, they destroy the fetal RBC, because the RBC of the fetus is Rh positive. The mother has produced Rh positive antibodies, has produced antibodies against the Rh positive antigen. Rh positive antigen. So Rh positive against Rh positive antibodies she has produced Rh antibodies. So now this will destroy the RBC of the fetus. Now the fetus will RBCs will be destroyed. Now he will have less RBCs. Less RBCs means anemia. So the baby can die without RBCs because the RBC is destroyed by the mother's RBC. But nowadays, because of advanced technology and improvement in the science and studies, yeah, we whenever the lady gets pregnant, we ask her to undergo her blood group testing, and if she is Rh negative and her husband is Rh positive, then what we do, after the delivery of the first baby, we give her antibodies against the anti antibodies we give her antibodies against what? Anti-Rh antibodies. Anti-Rh antibodies. So that whatever the mother is producing antibodies, na, she is producing antibodies against the Rh positive antigen. She is producing against this anti-Rh antigen. So now these antibodies will be neutralized in the mother itself. So these antibodies do not enter into the second child. Okay, understood? So this is what given after delivery of the first child, there is possibility of exposure of mother blood with fetus now to develop antibodies in mother blood. Subsequent pregnancy means in the second pregnancy, mother's blood can leak into fetus blood and destroy the fetus RBC. Now talking about the cascade and all, we'll talk in our next class because we have already done with 1 hour. In the next class I will complete this cardiac cycle. It's a very small topic and I'll do it because I was going in very detail about how taught you everything, so that's why it took a long time, but it's definitely help you in future. Okay, thank you so much. What you have to do, this you have to do this thing. So you have to do this thing, okay, and you have to do this thing also, share in your groups. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding. Comment which was your favorite part in this lecture. Okay.